All right, finally, I'm going to go all the way across the country now. I don't want to forget my friends in Southern California. Let's go here to San Diego. This is Todd. I live in San Diego, and I want to become my own lawn care nut, thanks to you, but I need some advice. Initially, I had a nice carpet of 500 square feet of front yard grass when I moved in 20 years ago, but I've neglected to put in the time to care for it correctly. I'm unsure of the initial grass type that was newly laid when I moved in, but know that my somewhat green front yard is overtaken by many types of weeds. My concern is this: should I layer down Milorganite? That is, and if so, will I only be promoting more weed growth? My soil is primarily hardened with rocks living on a hill. Furthermore, do you think I should resod, plant from seed, or keep my current weeds in hopes of regrowing grass by following your basics of mowing, watering, laying fert, and killing weeds? So here's something fun, and I always like to look at things differently. There's one key that stuck out to this one for me here, Todd, and that is that your lawn, by the way, besides the fact that you've lived in your lawn or lived at your house for 20 years, and now you're becoming a lawn care nut, I love that, man, because everybody else is like first-time homeowners. And by the way, congratulations to everybody in this podcast today that's a first-time homeowner. I love you. I think I might have forgotten to do some of that roo-rah. I'm just jumping into it today. But either way, I want to congratulate you here, Todd, for living in the same house for 20 years. Good job, especially in California. I'm sure that was a good move on your part. And I want to congratulate you now for developing a hobby after 20 years of lawn care. I think that's freaking awesome, dude. And I can't wait for you to get like so involved in this because you're going to love it. And I think you're really going to love it because you have such an opportunity, because the thing that stood out here to me besides that is that it's only 500 square feet. Now, I want you guys to think about that. 500 square feet is definitely a postage stamp lawn. It's a half a postage stamp. I consider a postage stamp lawn to be 1,000 square feet. If you don't know what that means, I do recommend you go out and measure your lawn. Measure out a 1,000 square foot area. Learn what that is. That's part of learning your land, but everything we talk about is in 1,000 square foot increments. So think about the times when you've gone out and worked on a spreader or worked on a sprayer and learned how to spray 1,000 square feet. Our friend Todd here has half of that. So that's kind of cool. And that presents a really nice opportunity for you, Todd, because the first thing is, you have the ultimate in flexibility. Whereas somebody that has a giant lawn doesn't have as much flexibility. They also have a much bigger investment up front. You know, somebody with an acre lawn, they don't necessarily have the flexibility to spray their lawn with a 1 gallon hand can. They don't have the flexibility to only mix up 1 gallon of product at a time. They have to mix up multiple gallons because the property is so large. Whereas you don't even need hardly any equipment. You could literally get away with a 1 gallon hand can and one of those little handheld Whirlybird dry spreaders, and you're good to go. You wouldn't need anything more than that. Maybe a hose and sprayer, but that even might be overkill for 500 square feet. So something to think about. You have a huge opportunity here to really make a big difference because you don't have as much land to tend, so you can pay extra attention to it. Now, here's the thing in San Diego. I'm going to guess that you have St. Augustine grass. Secondarily, you might have Bermuda, but I bet you it's St. Augustine grass. That's just from, I used to live in Moreno Valley, and the nicer lawns in the area were almost always St. Augustine grass, and then there was a lot of desert or xeriscapes. That's really pretty much what we had. And I'm going to assume San Diego is very similar. However, you might have Bermuda, so I would think those would be your two choices. And what I would recommend you do, one of the things that you learn here, Todd, is that most of the houses in your subdivision probably were installed with the same grass. So what I would do is go find the 1 or 2 lawn care nuts in your neighborhood who have the most beautiful lawns, and I would go to them and make friends with them and ask them what the grass type is. And ask some questions. Have you lived here from the beginning? Because those lawn care nuts will know. So I think I would do that first. The other thing I would do definitely is any other nice lawns in the neighborhood that may be taken care of by professionals or DIYers, but look for the nice lawns, figure out what that grass is and take pictures of it. I mean, don't figure out what type it is, but take pictures of it. And then go online and compare. I actually just did a video here in the last week. You can go on the Lawn Care Nut channel there, and you can see where I took the warm season grass types and I did close-up pictures of them and compared them. And you will definitely see St. Augustine grass in there in Bermuda. But take pictures of what the primary grass types are in your neighborhood. There probably won't be more than 2. Use your phone for this. Then I recommend you get out in that 500 square foot and you get down on your hands and knees, Todd, and you do some hand weeding for 3 hours. Now, I'm giving you a 3-hour time limit. You can do it for 6 if you want. You can do it for 1. But I think that that's the opportunity that you have with only 500 square feet is you can get out and really learn your land. Maybe you'll pull out some of those big rocks while you're doing that. Maybe you'll understand that that rocky soil isn't as bad as you think, or maybe it's much worse. But the other thing that you'll do while you're pulling those weeds out is you will understand where they're growing, how they're growing. Why is this particular weed only in this side or that side, or is it everywhere? Does it have a flower? Does it have a upright growth habit, or does it spread out? Does it have rhizomes that it pushes out? Does it look more like a grass, or is it more have a broad leaf? Take pictures of all these if you want, because these are things you can research later online. But the idea is hand pull as many as you can. But anything that looks like the pictures of the nice lawns in your neighborhood that you took, do not pull that. Leave that there. What that's going to do is it's going to really start to train your eye too. It's pretty cool. And listen, you can do that. Anybody can gut out 3 hours pulling weeds in the lawn. I was trimming areca palms for 3 hours last weekend, and I loved every second of it. It's always fun to get out and put your hands on your land, put your hands in your dirt, pull some weeds. If you do that for 3 hours, Todd, you're going to really learn that land. And at that time, I think you'll see if there is any good grass left. Because it's a warm season turf, I'm going to say even if you have 20% there, because if you do confirm that it's very rocky, then you don't want to pull out the grass that's survived all of these years. That's the alpha grass. That's the grass that has survived, competing with not only rocks, but competing with weeds. So you don't want to pull that out. You want to leave it. So let's say you determine that that's St. Augustine grass. Well, then I recommend you go locally to a local sod grower and you get plugs. You might want to even sod it. If you're finding that it's not that bad, 500 square feet, you can sod it if you want to. Or you can use plugs. But either way, 500 square feet gives you a great opportunity for that. Now, let's say you decide not to sod. Then your question is, well, if I start fertilizing, you're going to throw some plugs in there. That's fine. Maybe help things speed up. Hopefully you have at least 20% turf there that you can work with, Todd. And you're going to really try to get things going by frequent mowing and by fertilizing and all of that kind of stuff. So you're wondering, hey, am I going to be helping the weeds at that point? And the answer is yes, you are. Anytime you put down fertilizer, it helps the weeds as well. Hopefully during your 3 hours of pulling, though, you pulled a good percentage, and the rest you can take care of with some herbicides. Again, if you're putting some plugs in there, the nice thing about plugs is you can still spray over the top of those with post-emergent herbicides, and it's not going to hurt them because they're already an established full plant. If you sod, however, you will have to wait for that, and you want to read the label on the product that you have. So one of the good things with plugging is you can go out and attack the weeds immediately, leave the grass that's there that you found. Hopefully you found at least 20% good turf grass there, and the fertilizer is going to help to push that while you're using a post-emergent spray strategy on top. And I would also recommend then that you use a pre-emergent strategy. However, if you are going to use plugs, you don't want to use prodiamine. You're going to want to use a dithiopyr or possibly even Pennant Magnum. I'm not sure what's available in your state. But that's what I would do, is I would really get down and learn that land and then make that determination. Once you get most of those weeds pulled out of there, do I have at least 20% turf grass? Can I get this established by pushing it hard? Because it is a warm season turf grass and it is going to spread. And then can I get plugs to match that are going to fit in there and help me speed things up? Or in the end, maybe you decide you don't have enough turf grass there. You pulled out as many rocks as you could, and you're just going to till everything up and you're going to sod it. Either way, hope for the best.